We have two current warnings. And if you're watching us in McHenry County, as far west as Huntley or as far east as Algonquin and the Lake County line, you know, the warning might not be for you yet, but if you want to be wise, get into your basement now because this particular storm is lifting to the north. And Brant, as you have mentioned, and I want to reiterate, is that this isn't one singular storm. This is an overall overarching pattern of this wind shear at the lower levels of the atmosphere that could be conducive for additional tornado warnings this afternoon. So I think everybody needs to be on guard, even if their specific location is not currently under a tornado warning. Back to you.
And what we're seeing too, Paul, and we'll keep both of us up here for a second so we can compare and talk a little bit. What you're talking about, outdoor safety, is something that we stress over and over and over again. The reason that we are here is for safety. We want you to be safe. So when we say, where's your safe place? It's something you sit at the dinner table and you talk to your family about. And I know, Paul, you and your boys go over the safety. You know, what do you do? Where's that safe place? And we were just talking about how Paul's going on vacation in an area where there could be a tsunami. And we go over that stuff. And that's the way we think. And we want you to think that same way so you can be your own forecaster and you can stay safe too. So what we've got going on right now, we have two active tornado warnings. The one of most concern is the one that's moving into a really populated area. That's into DuPage County and portions of Cook County. You can see it goes all the way up toward Elk Grove Village. And that active warning rolls till, what, I believe 4:15. You can see it all there. Remember that? Moving off to the north and east. And let's get in closer here and give you an idea of some of the streets we're looking at. Here's Tri-State Tollway. Here's 290. There's the 290 extension. You can see where Carroll Stream is located. That's right on you in Carroll Stream. Let's hop over. You know, sometimes it's difficult too. If you just see this radar image, okay, it's a blob. You know, what's it mean? That's why we have this rotation tracker. And take a look at this. Look what it's saying. It's saying if you're in Carroll Stream, this thing is on you right now. You need to be in your safe place. All right, let's think ahead. Where is it going? It's moving off to the north-northeast. You see the vector there that says in its path, Bloomingdale, Roselle. You've got a little bit of time. Well, not that much. Look at the update that we just got here. That rotation tracker is a product that comes off the National Weather Service Doppler radar. It sits in Romeoville. So it's on you in Bloomingdale now. It looks like we're looking at Roselle, Hanover Park. That's moving off to the north and east at around 40 miles per hour. So you need to be in your safe place. Hanover Park, Roselle, right now. Get to the center of the basement. Strong interior room, first floor, away from glass. All right, let's look at the other one if we can widen out here. All right, look at this. Look what we're seeing in West Dundee and Carpentersville. Look what's going on. And again, the National Weather Service does their best to outline that polygon to give you an idea. Okay, there's where the storm is. Well, the polygon, you know, the line doesn't know where the storm is. Look at that. Look at that rotation. That's up near Algonquin and moving up. We've got Route 12 and here's Route 14, Cuba Road up in here. And moving off, there's Lake in the Hills. And we're starting to get into an area too that the topography comes into play. Because once you start getting up into McHenry County, you start to see those rolling hills. Especially if you're out near Lake in the Hills and you're up Hyatt Road. You can see the rolling hills over there. So sometimes it's difficult to see some of these rotations as they're occurring. So err on the side of caution in Trout Valley, Cary, right up on Route 14, Lake in the Hills. Be really cautious here, and especially when you see that kind of signature with the rotation. Now, one of the things we've learned is that when you start to see a little bit of an S shape, one of the characteristics of the computer program, it's indicative of some stronger circulation and rotation. We see almost like a sea serpent shape here, so I don't know if that holds true at this point. What it's saying to me is there's a lot of rotation, and that's on the north side of Interstate 90. You're not seeing that kind of rotation to the south in this DuPage County. Glen Ellen now has reported a funnel, so there's some ground truth to this. So radar indicated But we're now hearing Glen Ellen has seen a funnel. Whether it touched down, that we don't know. But again, err on the side of caution. We're here to keep you safe. We're here to keep you informed. And we talk about this. Paul, I can grab you again. Let's do the double box thing a little bit here. We talk about Live Doppler 5 and what a valuable tool it is and how it's free. And sometimes I think it becomes almost noise when we say, download the NBC Chicago app and put it on your smartphone and all that. But it really is a valuable tool to have.
It is. It is, and I bet you there are a few thousand folks using that app right now to watch you and to watch me, and they're inside a closet or they're inside part of their basement, and that's the mechanism they can use not only for the radar, it's the mechanism they can use, okay, I'm going to the basement, well, my TV's not in the closet down there, but your phone is, everybody's got their phone everywhere. That's one of the ways that you can keep watching Channel 5 and keep getting the information. One, okay, is the storm close to me? Two, when can I go back upstairs?
Yeah.
Folks want to know when this is over, especially with the storm that isn't creating much lightning. You don't have that audio cue that things are done. So, Brant, you're going to be the audio cue today. Yeah, we can let folks know.
We both are, Paul. We both are. And I appreciate the company because this is an analysis that takes more than one head to figure all this stuff out. We're seeing that rotation. We're hearing like reports of a rotating wall cloud. So again, as much as it's television, and we'd love to have pictures, but do not put yourself in harm's way to send us a picture. We live in that sort of YouTube generation, so the last thing we want to do is put you in harm's way where you hurt yourself just to get a silly picture.
And you had mentioned, Brant, that Glen Ellen confirmation. We get radar indicated. The radar, the data is telling us there's rotation, and then we get ground truth. Has somebody seen it? Has a trained spotter, somebody who should be out there looking, have they seen it? And we're beginning to get that, at least in Glen Ellen, with that report of a funnel cloud. Maybe it did not touch down. We'll find out later. But there is some ground truth to what we're showing on television.
And Paul, we talked about the safety aspect of this. And again, the whole process of this, what we're doing here this afternoon in interrupting programming, is the warning is coming from the National Weather Service Forecast Office in Romeoville. They're out there and they're watching. They've been watching this thing all day long today, and we all have. We've been on pins and needles. Yesterday we were all talking about, I know you've got an event with your son this evening that you're foregoing to hang with us here. And the forecast products come together, and then right now those meteorologists that are on duty in Romeoville are looking at the radar, and they're issuing these warnings, and we're here to share that information. And if we can add to that and show you a little more of what, give a little lead time, which is what we did in that DuPage County area. It looked like there was a stronger storm developing there before there was an official warning.
The one right behind me, yep.
So this is one thing too that you can be. If there's anything we'd like to do is teach you to be your own forecaster. And that's where Live Doppler 5 and those products come in. That before you go out to your son's ball game or your daughter's soccer practice, that you look at the radar and see what's going on. And if you ever have a question, we're all reachable here. You can send us emails and ask us questions. Hey, what do you think of this? And I can't tell you, Paul, how many times I've been in the grocery store checkout line. It's like, what do you think? I got a birthday on Sunday. It's out in the backyard. What do you think? And that's where you pull out your phone and you tell them what's going on. So let's back out and re-up. If you're just joining us, it's 3:48. We have a couple of active tornado warnings at this point. These are low-topped thunderstorms. That's why you're not seeing any lightning. Above my head here, you can see very few. In fact, I think that's a zero. Zero lightning strikes. And we have two active tornado warnings. And the one out to the west, out toward Elgin, looks like it's almost outrunning the warning box. Can we zoom in on that guy a little bit? Let's just take it a little closer here. There, you can see that we still have the warning officially down toward Elgin, but it's done. You're in the clear there in Elgin. But you get up into West Dundee, Carpentersville, now Algonquin, Trout Valley, up toward Cary, up toward Fox River Grove. You can see We've got a new warning coming out I'm hearing in my ear here. Let's see where that's going to be. Look at Addison. It's a continuation of this one in Addison, okay? Okay.
Cook County.
All right, check this out, Paul.
Yep, northeastern Cook County.
And you know what's interesting? Look at this, Paul. Look how we're seeing multiple areas of rotation up here in Mount Prospect and up near Northbrook. Here's the Tri-State Spur, and you're looking Northbrook. We're coming up on Lake Cook Road, Dundee, around in here. Oh, watch that. Mount Prospect. Okay, Glen Ellen now has reported a brief rotating wall cloud with a funnel cloud.
Okay.
So there's the truth to that. But again, Paul, you were mentioning, that this isn't one singular big storm system.
Right.
Not only that, but think of it as the fingers of a vortex dancing downward. There's not one single Dorothy and Toto looking rotation.
Right.
This could be multiple fingers of vortices, and so caution there.
I kind of think of it as like a two-layer cake, where one layer you've got wind rushing in from one direction, the other layer you've got wind rushing in from a different direction. So there's your wind shear, but it's everywhere. It's not just in one spot, it's everywhere. So wherever Mother Nature decides to spin up that rotation a little extra or a little more, we're seeing these rotation trackers on your radar.
And we're just receiving word from the National Weather Service that they will not be doing a downstream warning from that one in Kane County.
Okay.
So that's some good news.
We're now Cook and DuPage then.
And that warning has expired at this point. So now we're down to the two warnings here. And that's the one that we were pointing out earlier that encompassed moving into DeKalb, into DuPage County, and then off toward Cook County is the new warning. And again,
probably about 1 million people are inside this warning right now, if I just had to do a little guess. That's a highly populated area we're now talking about.
And you realize that, in the old days, you could go up Route 59 and they were all turf farms. Now it's all houses, all housing, shopping centers. And let's get closer on this. Can we, Joey, let's zoom right in here. Let's get a little closer here. I want to see some towns pop up here. There's Itasca. And again, this rotation is moving off to the north and east. So just west of O'Hare. So if you're in Itasca, look at this. Here's
right
Wooddale,
on Itasca,
and look,
right on
look at the construction here. And if you've driven out, drive out North Avenue, drive out anywhere in here, and you can see what it looks like in Itasca, Elk Grove Village, everywhere just west of O'Hare. And there's the Elgin O'Hare Expressway, and that's on you right now. So get into your safe place. That's a strong interior room. Stay away from windows. And first floor, people ask, what if I live on the second or third floor? Get to a lower floor. Get to know your neighbors downstairs. Had an interesting email, Paul. I'll share this with you too. We always say, and the official word is stay in a strong interior room if you don't have a basement, like a bathroom. And I had a couple of architects. One said that the building code, sometimes you need an outside window if you don't have external ventilation into an interior bathroom.
Yeah.
So some bathrooms are being built on the outside. And one architect very nicely sent me the building code that said that if you had external ventilation, then you could have that interior room without having an outside window. So if you live in a structure that has a window in the bathroom, that kind of defeats the safety. Right. Yeah, completely. So if that's your situation, if there's a bathroom window, then step back and find a closet. And have that go pack ready to go, where you have a cell phone charger, you've got some snacks, you've got your water, and you're ready to go if there's a situation, and your kids know where to go.
Right.
And everybody has a plan, and that's something that we can't reiterate enough. It's be prepared. It's almost like the old Boy Scout thing. I made it through Cub Scouts. But be prepared. Know, your safe place. Know where your kids are. Know where to hook up again if you get separated. If your kids are at a friend's house,
right.
How to contact you. And sometimes, God forbid we're not seeing, massive destruction, but if we lose cell towers and you can't communicate, have a way to get in touch with them.
We want it to be instinctual. We want folks to know without thinking where to go. Like, what's that one room in your house? Every house is a little bit different. Maybe it's a closet in your basement. Maybe it's a closet on your first floor. Maybe you've got to go, if you live in a high rise, to the bathroom on the first floor in your condo building. But instinctually, okay, I hear the warning, I go there. Period.
Yeah.
There's no thought about it.
Yeah, exactly. And if we can teach that, and if that's the message we can send to you, then we've done our job.
And that's Elk Grove Village right now. I'm looking at the radar. It is right over Elk Grove Village, Arlington Heights Road, Pratt Boulevard, Devon Avenue, just some of the places. That's pretty highly populated now, and with the lightning strike as well.
What's interesting too, Paul, is I was looking on something the Storm Prediction Center puts together. It's called mesoanalysis, and with that, you can look at where they've plotted. And these are guys down in Norman, Oklahoma, that have more intelligence than we'll ever dream of having. And they were sharing that it was more stable in the atmosphere as you got into northern Cook County and up into Lake County. But look how this stuff is holding together. And when you're seeing lightning, this is telling me that the top of this storm is punching up a little bit higher and is high enough that we could see some of those ice crystals rubbing against each other and building up a charge. So bottom line, if you're in this area right now, you need to be in your safe place. Elk Grove Village, this is on top of you right now. And again, safe place, an interior room, a strong interior room. If you have a basement, fortunate enough to have a basement, get into the center of it, under a stairway. Stay away from basement windows. First floor, if you've got a strong interior room that doesn't have windows, often that may be a bathroom, get inside it and wait for the storm to leave. If you are in a building with 2 stories, always seek shelter at the lowest floor. Don't be caught upstairs. Something we saw in the Naperville tornado. Upstairs, portions of houses were devastated, but the downstairs was okay. Again, we can't stress seeking shelter immediately. If you are in Elk Grove Village and you can see that this thing is moving off to the north and east, there's the center of the vector there, that red line over there. So this is going to continue off to the north and east. Mount Prospect in the path, some rotation in this plains, and let's widen this thing out to show you the fact that there's not just one tornado warning, but a second one that's added. And that continues off to the north and east. And in there, when we're using rotation tracker, which is a little better way to really define what you're looking at here, because if you just look at this, it's just a blob. What can you tell there? Okay, it's raining, it's a thunderstorm. But when you take that off and you put up the math program that's rotation tracker, now you can kind of dissect this thing a little bit, okay? Strongest stuff down toward Elk Grove Village. Little rotation here, right in downtown Des Plaines, right along the Des Plaines River. You know where that is. And then let's slide up here to the north. We were seeing something that was around Northbrook. Look at this, just west of Northbrook. So you can see, out Dundee, out Lake Cook Road. There's the Tri-State Spur. And Prospect Heights, you've got something right here. All right, we're back to Elk Grove Village. At this point, this looks like the primary area of concern. And this is where you need to be in your safe place. We haven't received any ground truth other than the fact we heard of the rotating wall cloud that was south and west of here, and perhaps a funnel. But again, this lightning is telling me that this is a maturing thunderstorm. And what it's telling me is we're starting to see, rather than just some low-level shear, and Paul was describing this very well, that the shear is essentially at the surface. We've got southeast winds, and they're running into southwest winds as you get up in the atmosphere. And that changing, that veering of winds can impart some spinning. And now we're starting to get vertical development, and that's pulling that rotation vertically, and that's where we wind up seeing the vortices that could produce a tornado. And so the lightning is telling me that we're getting some stronger vertical development. We're not seeing the top of this thing in that 25,000 foot range. This is exceeding that to produce that. There's the motion. Now look where it's crossed here. We're starting to see where it's moving above Elk Grove Village, moving north and eastward. So the center of this thing is moving over toward Mount Prospect. Can we slide over this way? All right, here's one of our cameras.
There, yeah.
Take a look at that. Okay, look what you're seeing there. You can see the rotating wall cloud. Look at that. You can see like a shelf cloud there, and there may be some rotation under that. We're going to have to see. Look at the darker area back here. It's tough for me to describe something, but if you look left, if you look over here, look to the other side of the screen, I'm just pointing over here, you're going to wind up seeing that's where that center of circulation is. So nice job on steering the camera there. That gives us an excellent perspective. And again, it's like life goes on. People are just driving by and have no idea that we have an active tornado warning. So let's go back, let's go full screen on this guy again, and we'll give you an idea what's going on here.
And Brand, it's worth noting that as we look at all these tornado warnings, it's pretty much Cook County now. The one in DuPage looks like it just expired. And then the one in the storm that was in Kane County, as of the top of the hour, that has expired. So we're pretty much, our focus now is squarely on northern Cook County. Yeah,
and this guy that's moving out of DuPage County and moving off to the north and east. And again, let's talk. So you can see look at the difference here. What Paul's sharing with you is what the radar reflectivity, we call it, what the beam,
That's the beam is it raining here? No. Is it raining here? Absolutely. What Brandt's showing you is much more important for Brandt's showing us rotation. Yeah, and take a look at this, and let's get a little closer on this. And we're seeing, we pointed this out earlier, that it isn't one single vortex. This isn't like in Twister or a movie where you see one big funnel cloud. This could be multiple little fingers of spinning, of vorticity, of vortices coming down. So seek shelter. Don't even mess around with this. Do not. Okay, Wheeling now is reporting sirens going off. So this is all moving off to the north and east. General motion now is around 31 miles per hour. So here's Mount Prospect. Wheeling, north of that now. Here's Des Plaines, and this whole big ugly cell there that you saw from one of our tollway cameras with that shelf cloud, perhaps a rotating wall cloud under it, and perhaps even a vortices or a tornado dropping down, a funnel cloud from it. There's Des Plaines, there's Mount Prospect, and again, there's a look at it. Let's look at that picture again.
And that's classic looking.
Is that a plane landing too?
Yeah, that's just to the west of O'Hare. Yep. And you're looking at, that's the rail yards there. And you get the idea. I think this is Bensonville. So that's, this is the back end of the storm. If we can turn that camera a little bit to the left, you can get an idea as I'm trying to peer at it here a little bit. You can see that baggy stuff out in the front of it, and then you can see right underneath, that's where the heavy rain shaft is, where this thing is really dumping out. And if we can get, Joy, can you get a top on that guy? What are we looking at as far as echo tops? We'll get that. And sometimes we say that, what's the top? It's 30,000 feet. And why do we say that? It's not just from the pilot stuff. It gives you an idea of the vertical development of the cloud. You start to get a cloud apparently up to 30,000 feet, and that's just enough to produce those vivid lightning strikes that we're seeing at this point. So that's why we try to figure out what the tops of the clouds are, how much above the freezing level, and a guesstimate now, I would say the freezing level, what are we looking at, maybe 14,000 feet, something like that. So we have at least a few miles of below freezing temperatures for those ice crystals to bump into each other. And we're not seeing a lot of hail out of this. The storm's not that tall. But again, here's lightning, and that's underneath that thunderstorm cell that we were just sharing the picture from the Bensonville tollway camera. Was looking straight at it. So again, we bring another one of our safety things in. There is no safe place outside where there is lightning. Just remember that phrase, period. No safe place outside. Where do you go? If you've got lightning like this, your tornado safe place is a good place. Inside a building, away from windows. If you're in a car, if you're at your kid's ball game, what do? Get in your car, roll up the windows, sit it out. Much like, some people say, oh, it's the 6 inches of rubber on the tires will protect me. Nah, that's baloney. That isn't the truth. What happens is you are part of the circuit. Much like when you see a bird land on a power line and they just sit there and they're not shocked, you are part of the path. So if lightning hits a tree nearby, if lightning hits the ground, even God forbid your car, it's going to pass around you and get to ground. So the safest thing you can do is sit in your car. Okay, this is from. This is looking from the Bensonville Bridge on the tollway. We're looking back across the rail yard, and that's to the north and west, and that's the back end of the storm. That's the guy moving away at this point. All right, let's re-up. And let's bring you up to speed. It's 4:05. You're watching the NBC 5 News. This is continuing coverage of an active tornado warning that we have that's been moving across DuPage County. Now it's moving into Cook County. Where is the center of rotation? The center of rotation is right on Mount Prospect. Here's Mount Prospect. There's Prospect Heights. There's Wheeling. We've had reports that the sirens are going off in Wheeling. Chicago Executive Airport is right there between Prospect Heights and Wheeling. And look at Northbrook here. Earlier we were seeing some circulation, some rotation. And to describe this rotation tracker, this is a very unique math program that looks at all of the parameters detected by Doppler radar, crunches the numbers, and then graphically tells us where it sees the rotation. And this is an invaluable tool, very similar to what the National Weather Service has at their disposal, and they're using at this point. There's the center of the rotation, Prospect Heights, Mount Prospect, and this thing is rather massive. Do we have the lightning turned all the way up at this point? Are we? So look at how the lightning strikes are starting to diminish. We're going to be running into a more stable part of the atmosphere as we get closer to Lake Michigan. So maybe that is indicative of the fact, Paul, that we're seeing that lightning information start to come down, that we're starting to see the top of the cloud collapsing. And that's some good news. That's what we want to have happen. It is going to be dumping out some heavy rainfall. We're not seeing any evidence of large hail with this. And again, the top wasn't that tall. But again, there's still circulation here. There's still danger here. So seek shelter if you are in Prospect Heights, Mount Prospect, and look at the general motion Wheeling at 4:15 in the next 5 to 10 minutes. And look how this is slowed down. Earlier, we were seeing that motion off to the north and east around 45 miles per hour. Now it's slowed down to around 30. And what we're running into is there's a southeast component to the wind that's helped produce this shear. Southeast at the surface, southwest aloft. But you start to get over into the lakefront area here, and we're starting to see the influence that the ceilings are down, the bases of the clouds are low at Waukegan Airport. Very stable atmosphere along the lakefront. That can still contribute to some of the shear as this moves through, and that would explain why the National Weather Service has taken that track for the tornado warning all the way out to the lakefront, just clipping part of Winnetka and on up through Glencoe and Highland Park. You can't see them here, but you get the idea that they're there. There's Northbrook. And so, again, keep your guard up. In the northern portion of Cook County now, we're starting to kind of move out of the panhandle of Cook County and into the north edge of Cook County, right up to Lake Cook Road. And this extends right across Lake Cook Road, too, up to the north and east. And again, an active tornado warning. This rolls till 4:30 this afternoon. And you see where rotation tracker is showing it moving off to the north and east. And that lightning display is a little bit less than it was. Look behind my head there. Okay, that from what I'm hearing now from my assistant, is that we're okay. A pilot at Elk Grove Village reported a funnel cloud. A warm front is working its way north and eastward, and that warm front now is intersecting with this disturbance coming up. We talked about this last night, and I try to simplify this. There's a low pressure center that's sitting down to the south of us, and it's throwing off this bits of energy, a little spinning in the atmosphere. And that's what's going on. That's what's fueling these thunderstorms at this point. Okay, now this is really picking up intensity.
Good rotation.
Yeah, look at that, Paul. So if you know this area, that's River Road. This is the Tri-State Tollway, and you can see it right here. And we're looking at this is Lake Cook up here. This is Willow Road right here, crossing over. This is the Forest Preserve in here. And so it looks like this thing is walking right up River Road. And if you know the area, a lot of houses here, a lot of single-story construction, too, in this area. So, you know, get into your safe place in Prospect Heights. This is on you now. Chicago Executive Airport is right in here. And you can see where the Forest Preserve is here. All along this area. So we're going to watch this closely. Look at the timeline, Northbrook 422. If you've got outdoor plans anywhere up here, delay them, cancel them, be prepared. You know, once you cross over too, look what happens to the density of housing once you cross the Tri-State Tollway. And there's Willow Road right there. This is just packed with houses and mature trees. So there's a lot of damage that can be done by a tornado in this area. Right here, it'd be nice if this just kind of moved over to the east a little bit and rode along the Des Plaines River in that forest preserve there. That would be a thankful thing. And let's see what it does here with the next couple of scans. But what we're seeing is some strong rotation. You see the color code. Strong rotation on rotation tracker. That's in Mount Prospect, moving up toward Prospect Heights. Chicago Executive Airport in there underneath Wheeling, and moving off to the north and east. And again, you get on the east side of the tollway, and it's houses, houses, houses. And you can see, and as I mentioned, the mature trees. So if anything gets across the tollway up in here, then we could potentially see some danger. Let's talk again about safe place. We'll leave this up. Let's go to a two-box thing. Paul, you know, that the house thing we have is a great example to show people graphically.
Second.
I'll give you a second to throw that guy up.
Yeah, because there's certain spots that are good and certain spots that frankly aren't that good, and you want to be wise with where you decide to send your family, especially in a situation like this. We hear the term weak tornado. Is there really such a thing? I mean, we're still talking about 70 or 80 mile per hour winds, which is enough to do a significant amount of damage, or bring a tree into your house with the canopy now full and all those little sails we call leaves now on the trees. So what do you do? Well, let's go inside a house. You want to get inside your safe place. The safest place in your house would be a basement, away from windows, below ground, below grade, in a basement. Now you're saying 80% of you are like, okay, I'll go there, or I am there. What if you don't have a basement or live in a condominium? First floor room, lowest level that you can get to safely, and it's an interior room. Maybe it is a bathroom. Maybe it's a closet. It likely isn't going to be luxury. It likely is going to be a little inconvenient and crammed if there's a lot of you, but that's the safest spot. Why? Because you're not next to an exterior wall. You're as far inside your house, and you're not, or hopefully not, near glass, because if glass breaks, that can do some damage to you. And what we want to do is, as a basement or a strong interior room away from windows, and that's exactly what folks need to be doing in Cook County right now. This is heading toward Wheeling, Mount Prospect, highly populated areas with the potential for winds of 80 to 100 miles an hour.
Paul, check this out. This is the latest scan. I love live television. Latest scan of rotation tracker. That big bullseye that we had, that big red area, gone on the latest scan. It's starting to run into where the warm front is. The warm front is kind of sitting across this portion of northern Illinois. We talked about what a great place for this rotation to go, right over the forest preserve along the Des Plaines River. Great place. Just stay there. Stay on the other side. There's the Tri-State Tollway where it takes that little bend. Now it's moving into Northbrook. And so you're going to see perhaps some damaging winds here, maybe even a vortex. So if you're in Northbrook, get to your safe place. And we've talked about this, and Paul was just saying the safe place is a strong interior room away from windows. Where we're looking here, this is Lake Cook Road. This is Willow Road and Lake Cook Road, and you can see the torrential rain that's occurring there. And this thing is not quite on them yet. There's that center circulation. And let's go back to full screen my map, and we'll give you an idea of where Willow Road comes in there, okay? So, yeah, this is Lake Cook, and so we're looking at right in here. That's where we're seeing, yeah, we're looking at right in here, we're starting to see that heavier rainfall. That rotation is still to the south of that. So, again, caution here. Get into your safe place, and we say safe place over and over and over again. Rotation is right over Willow Road at this point. So what you were seeing right there with that live camera from our iPass cameras is that's where the heavy rainfall is occurring, and that's where the center of the circulation is happening. That's what rotation tracker is saying. Once again, we're not seeing that strong rotation that we were before, but that doesn't mean this thing can't intensify a little bit. But judging from what I saw of that tollway camera, of the heavy rainfall, and the fact that we're seeing the lightning strikes diminishing, that's telling me that the vertical development of the storm may be collapsing somewhat. So that may be indicative of it slightly weakening, but not enough to completely let your guard down. Certainly don't do that. And another thing to point out is look how this thing is essentially creeping off to the north and east because it's running into a more stable environment. Here's the next scan, and you see these scans from the National Weather Service Doppler radar. That's what's feeding this math program, this rotation tracker. So it's coming up on, here's the Eden Spur. So here's 94. We're coming up over here at Botanic Gardens, and you can see right here is the spur that goes out to the Tri-State. So if you know someone that's driving on this, have them sit tight for a little bit. If you know someone who's trying to get home or get into the city along the spur here, because that's moving up to the north and east. And again, you look at this, Deerfield, Highwood, Ravinia, Highland Park, all of these communities, and again, we pointed out they all are covered with a canopy of mature trees. And we've been waiting for the trees to get their leaves. I have a silver maple in my backyard, a bur oak in the front yard, and now they're starting to leaf out. And as Paul pointed out, those leaves are little sails, and they can capture that wind and be damaged. So any outflow from this, or certainly any circulation from a tornado, has the potential to down some trees, down power lines. We haven't talked about this yet, but keep in mind that any time that power line goes down, if you're in ComEd's service area, it's 1-800-EDISON-1. Don't go near the power line. Don't touch it. Don't think you can drive over it. Call that in at 1-800-EDISON-1 if you were to lose power, or 911 or the non-emergency number in your community, and let them know that you've got a power line down and help them out. Sometimes a smart grid already knows by the time you've already okay, and we're receiving information too that now we have a ground stop at O'Hare. I think, Paul, the last thing you want to do is try to take off and depart from O'Hare and move off to the north and east until this system has moved away. So what a ground stop means is that aircraft are not departing the airport. Sometimes international flights, they're already that aren't diverted or put into holding patterns, will get in. But certainly if you're expecting to depart from O'Hare right now, there's a ground stop at this point. So if you're expecting someone to depart, all the travel plans are are changing at this point.
It'll be interesting to see, Brent, if we see this warning extended into southeastern Lake County. The Cook County warning expires at 4:30. We're about 11 and a half minutes away from that. As we see the energy from the storm hop over the county line into southeastern Lake County, it looks like the rotation is still there, and the rotation doesn't care about political boundaries like county lines. So,
and what we're hearing now from Paul, what we're hearing too is they're not intending to extend it up.
Okay.
So that's great news. And again, we're looking at that more stable atmosphere along the lakefront with that southeast wind. So any gift we can get at this point to make this a less ugly experience into the evening, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, what differs, we're not Iowa because we have Lake Michigan to kind of calm down the atmosphere sometimes, and this may be one of those cases where it does that for us.
The one interesting thing about this climate is we really live in a modified marine climate. There's the latest scan. You can see that the rotation is broad at this point. We're not seeing that red color, that strong rotation as this moves up into Deerfield, up toward Highland Park. Certainly some heavy rainfall, and we're seeing only just a couple of lightning strikes. But getting back to Lake Michigan, stop me if I get too geeky with science here. But water has something called a high specific heat. It holds a lot of energy, and it's slow to release it and slow to gain it. And something that has a low specific heat is like aluminum foil.
Right.
Like if you've got the tater tots in the oven, you can grab the aluminum foil on the side and not burn your hands and pull them out. It dissipates heat.
Don't touch the pan, though.
Don't touch the pan, just the foil. But Lake Michigan, at this time of the year, the shore temperature now is like 51, I think. The warning has just been canceled. So let's see how quick this goes away here.
Let's see, let's zoom out.
And it sometimes takes a little bit for the old machine to get it done. But back to the specific heat thing. So at this time of the year, it's going to take a long time to get that bathwater in Lake Michigan. We're not going to hit the 70s till August. So that keeps us cooler at the lakefront. Then in the wintertime, in the fall, we get the advantage of it's warmer at the lakefront. So we dodge a freeze right along the lakefront. So having the lake there is really our meteorological friend. Sometimes it can be a problem too because we can see some interaction of winds off Lake Michigan causing showers and thunderstorms along the edge of it. But it's nice to have that body of water out there. So this has officially been canceled, Joey? Affirming. We are warning free. So at this point,
Warning is canceled.
Warning is canceled. It may still be up on the box here, but that's the official word. So don't let your guard down. Wait till this stuff clears out on the other side of the lake. And if we can widen this thing out, let's look for that other line of showers and storms. So picture a tire spinning. That's what this cutoff upper low is like that's well south of us. And it is throwing off, we call it vorticity, it's throwing off some spinning in the mid layers of the atmosphere up toward Chicago. And that is going to continue to occur. So we're going to see a little break in here, and we're looking down toward Joliet. We're seeing some other showers popping up that don't look that impressive at this point. But farther downstate into the evening hours, the computer models have been saying there's going to be another line of these thunderstorms marching their way north and eastward toward Chicago. So after this moves out into Lake Michigan, the warnings officially have been canceled at this point, even though it still shows up here on the machine. We'll get a little break and then keep your guard up later in the evening. Paul and I will be here. We'll keep you safe and we'll keep you updated and give you an idea of what's happening if that second line matures into anything significant. And can we throw up, throwing a wrench in you here, the model guidance, if we can, we'll give us a second here and we'll throw up Stormcast. And with that, we get a better idea of kind of our little telescope into the future to try to see if we can see what's going on. And again, even though you see that red box flashing there, the official warning has been canceled. And again, we're getting into a more stable atmosphere up across northern portions of our viewing area up into Lake County and out into Lake Michigan. Okay, here's the hour-by-hour stormcast. This is high-resolution rapid refresh? Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is updated every hour. We get a new roll of the computer. So look what it's saying at 7 o'clock in the evening. See this little lull right here? But watch what happens when we get to 8, 9 o'clock. Here comes another piece of that upper low that's south coming up towards Chicago. Once again, look where it's going. It's kind of going over the same ground. Look at this. This is the camera at Guarantee Rate Field. Paul, look at that. Isn't that dramatic? So you're seeing some of the trees north of the parking lot. That's the city looking from the south. And that's the line of showers and thunderstorms, and they are going away. They are going off to the north and east. Still see some of those cloud bases. I guess that's probably around 3,000 to 4,000 feet. And in the background there, you can see some of those towering cumulus clouds. But again, these guys are already out in Lake Michigan, because remember the way the shoreline curves and Waukegan like pooches out in the lake. So these guys are already out in Lake Michigan. Here's another view. This is the Adler Planetarium. You can see some of the lower bases of the clouds. And if we just stop here for a second, let's see if we can see the speed of these things moving. And we'll have to pick a reference point. Doesn't look like they're moving very fast. And we'll use the Aon building here. So you kind of, right here, do you see that moving at all? Yeah, a little bit. General motion has been around 35 to 40 miles per hour, but yeah, you can see. So that whole line of showers and thunderstorms moving off to the north and east. So our concern is, what's the story on that stuff down south? Will that impact your later evening plans? And even some scattered thunderstorms are popping up here. At this point, we're not seeing anything severe out of them. If we do, we'll continue to bring you the latest weather information as those guys continue to move off to the north and east. So scattered showers and thunderstorms. And again, the clock in this thing still sees the warning, and you can see that there's nothing inside that polygon. So that disregard, that flashing tornado warning box, it's been canceled. And sub-severe showers and thunderstorms moving through Highwood, moving out into Lake Forest, Great Lakes. You know, again, you keep your guard up here just because there, see the warning disappear. Let's go to the tracker here and see if we see any rotation offshore from Highwood. And you've got Fort Sheridan sitting right here. This is moving out into Lake Michigan. So the all clear, in effect, for any rotation that we're seeing right now. Let's just go down and kind of poke around far south, that stuff that's popping up down toward